Hello friends, I'm Varun and welcome to my channel IT with Varun to master the fundamentals. Now today we'll understand a very important concept known as IT general control, or better known as ITGCs in short, and why is it so critical. Before I begin this topic, I just want to say that I've created separate videos explaining the difference between IT audit and IT compliance, 3 lines of defense model, and IT risk in detail. And all of that knowledge will come in very handy in understanding this concept. So please watch those videos in any order as you like for an all-round understanding, because those concepts are really critical for understanding this concept nicely, and this is a very critical concept in IT audit, risk and compliance. I've also posted the links to the videos in the description section of this video. Now coming back to this topic of today, IT general control. Now control in risk, audit and compliance world is nothing but a benchmark or standard or a certain way of doing things. IT general control is simply a framework of controls that apply to all systems, processes and data to evaluate the effectiveness of any IT environment. And this is really important because IT general control is not an example of one control, it's a framework. And this framework has 4 key categories which are listed here. What we'll do is we'll go one by one in these categories to just understand what do we mean by them. Now let us understand it in detail with a simple example. Let us assume we are trying to assess the effectiveness of the IT environment related to a cash management system in a bank. Now, how will this ITGC framework help us in identifying the overall effectiveness? What we need to do is let us now revisit these 4 categories for that particular system which I have taken as an example, that cash management system in a bank. Now, logical access, this area tells us how is privilege access managed, how are accounts created, how do you remove accounts when somebody leaves the organization or there is a change in role, how are password settings managed. Change management, it's all about how changes are deployed in production. Is system development life cycle followed or not, which is a term used for SDLC. Operations is all related to incident or problem management and backup and recovery processes. And finally, this fourth and a very important critical bucket is related to information security, which is all about the vulnerability and patch management, intrusion detection controls, security hardening, and the like. So this, as the name suggests, this is very much related to cybersecurity. Now, review of the system evidence for each of these areas is known as testing in risk, audit, and compliance world. And the results from this testing helps assess the effectiveness of the overall environment related to that particular system. Like in our example, that system was the cash management system in a bank. Now please note that each of these categories require in-depth understanding of their own, and they are completely separate topics in itself. Now coming back to our topic of today, which is the IT general control or ITGCs, let us understand what makes this ITGC concept important, because the first half was all about covering what ITGC framework entails, and the second half is all about why is this concept really important. So as we have learned, this is used to evaluate the effectiveness of the IT environment related to a system, right? Then the question is like, what are its practical uses? And the answer is here. So all of these audits I've listed here, the type of audits, they cover almost 70 to 80% of what an audit function will do, be it in the financial area, compliance, IT. So what we have learned from this framework today, you can practically apply all of that in the IT compliance space with an example like Sarbanes-Oxley audit, which is better known as SOX, and it's a regulatory requirement for all public companies in the US to report on the effectiveness of their control environment, right? For basically you're providing assurance around the financial systems which support the financial processes. Now, this concept can also be applied to any risk-based audit, and risk-based audit is a very broad word, right? It can include like all the audit activities I listed earlier, SOX, compliance related, your IT technology based financial audits, or any other activity. So all of this makes this concept really powerful because you can apply it anywhere basically. So friends, I hope this video helped in understanding the ITGC or IT General Control Framework. Thanks for listening, and for more such videos, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next time. Till then, bye.